Once upon a time, in a vast green meadow, there lived a small but brave ant named Beth. She was not like the other ants in her colony. She was always curious, always eager to explore, and always ready to face any challenge that came her way. As the summer days started to fade, and the cool whispers of autumn filled the air, Beth knew it was time to gather food for the long winter ahead. The colony relied on each ant to do their part, and Beth wanted to prove that she was capable of helping just as much as the strongest ants. One morning, Beth set out on her journey through the tall blades of grass in search of food. She marched confidently through the meadow, her tiny legs carrying her swiftly over pebbles and twigs. She found a large crumb of bread, but just as she tried to lift it, a strong gust of wind blew her off balance, sending her tumbling down a steep hill. She rolled and rolled until she landed in a deep puddle, soaked and shivering. Beth shook herself off, determined not to give up. She climbed out of the puddle and started her journey once more. As Beth continued her quest, she encountered a group of mischievous beetles who blocked her path. "Give us your food, and we'll let you pass," one of them sneered, but Beth refused, stood her ground, and with a clever idea, she quickly dug a small hole in the soft soil, then tricked the beetles into stepping into it. They stumbled and fell, giving Beth enough time to escape with her precious crumb. She hurried away before they could chase her. Feeling proud of her victory, Beth pressed on until she came across a towering wall of stones. It was too high to climb and too wide to go around. She thought for a moment, then noticed a thin vine hanging from a nearby plant. With determination, she grabbed onto it and used all her strength to swing across the wall, landing safely on the other side. She had never felt so strong and capable. But her journey was not over yet. Beth soon found a juicy berry bigger than anything she had ever seen before. It would be enough to feed many ants through the harshest winter days. She struggled to carry it back to the colony, the weight almost too much for her, but she refused to quit. Suddenly, she felt the ground tremble. Looking up, she saw a giant bird swooping down towards her. She ran as fast as her tiny legs would carry her, zigzagging through the grass to avoid the bird's sharp beak. Just when she thought she was trapped, she spotted a small hole in the ground. She dove inside just in time. The bird's beak snapped shut. Just above her, the bird gave up and flew away, leaving Beth safe but exhausted. After catching her breath, Beth emerged from her hiding spot. She looked at the berry still intact and smiled. She had faced wind traps, beetles, and even a bird, but she had not given up. With renewed energy, she carried the berry back to her colony. The other ants cheered as she arrived. They had heard of her bravery and admired her courage together. They stored the food safely deep in the anthill. As the first snowfall of winter arrived, Beth curled up inside her warm home, surrounded by her fellow ants. She had proven that no matter how small she was, her bravery and determination could overcome any obstacle. And with that thought, she drifted into a peaceful sleep, ready to face whatever adventures the next season would bring. As the days passed and winter's grip tightened around the meadow, Beth often thought about the journey she had undertaken. She would tell her fellow ants about her adventure, describing every detail from the rolling fall down the hill to the moment she barely escaped the bird's grasp. The younger ants listened wide-eyed, admiring her courage and resilience. Her story spread throughout the colony, inspiring others to be braver and stronger no matter how small they were. One day, as the cold winds howled outside the anthill, an elder ant approached Beth and said, "Young Beth, you have proven yourself to be one of the bravest ants in our colony. I have seen many seasons, but rarely have I seen such courage and determination. You have set an example for all of us." Beth felt a deep sense of pride and warmth as the elder's words settled in her heart. She had not only gathered food, but had also earned the respect and admiration of her fellow ants. As the winter continued, the ants remained safe and well-fed, all thanks to the efforts of every member of the colony, but especially Beth, who had risked so much to bring back food. She spent her time helping others, telling stories of her adventures, and preparing for the next season. She knew that when spring came, there would be new challenges and new opportunities to prove herself once again. Finally, as the first hints of warmth began to return and tiny buds started to bloom on the trees, Beth knew it was time for a new adventure. With the lessons she had learned and the strength she had gained, she stepped out into the sunlight, ready to face whatever lay ahead, because she knew that no matter how big or small, no matter how difficult the challenge, she would always find a way to overcome it because she was Beth the brave ant.